So hello Tulalip, welcome to the latest Services Committee update report. And along my side here I've got Marlin Fryberg Jr. and Mel Sheldon appointed to the three of us appointed to the Services Committee last March by incoming chair Terry Gobin. And we've had so much work that we've done the last year, and the membership doesn't really get to see the work that we do. So we want to talk a little bit about that today. We're going to try and keep the video to about 20 minutes. We wanted to use the gathering hall as the backdrop because that's the newest project that will open. We think the progress has been going as planned for this $28 million project. It will be complete, largely complete by the end of February. It's coming right around the corner and people will begin to move in, and by April 1st we expect that this building is going to be open for public use, and that our very next general council meeting that we have in October, of course, is going to be held here rather than up at the Orca Ballroom as we have been doing. So I want to take this time, first of all, to thank my committee members, but I want to thank Herman Williams Sr. for having the foresight as incoming chairman in 2014 to push this gathering hall. It's been a great project, and the membership is really going to love what they see once they get inside. So along with that, I'm going to move on. We've got a lot of ground to cover, Mel, Marlin. We've recently started working on some housing issues, and we all know about the shortages of housing. And Marlin, maybe you can talk a little bit about where we're at, what we're doing, what the Services Committee has planned.
Thank you, Les. Again, I want to thank the staff for taking the time to come out and hear us. And the issues that we're going over are very important to not only us as Service Committee members, but tribal members. As it pertains to housing, Les is correct. We have a very shortage of housing. Our members want to come home. They want to live on the reservation. We've been tasked most recently to come up with a plan. The history of the housing, there's a location called Maplewood. There's a potential development there. The tribe put money in the ground years ago. That has since stopped. That opportunity is still there. We're in the process of coming up with 100-unit program, like ASAP. I know that's not going to cover everything and all the needs that we have, but yet we are a motivated service committee. I've seen it through this last year, and I'm thankful to be part of it with the leadership of Les Parks and to my right, Mel Sheldon. We're trying to address all the issues of our tribal membership, and certainly they don't happen overnight. So we're very concerned about the members not having a place to stay. We're working directly with Dodie. She's doing a great job in housing. Most recently took the wheel there, and in talking to her, they have a lot of ideas for us to implement on behalf of our people.
Yes, so the housing development, 100 units, is very much going to happen. We are going to push it. The board is fully behind what the Services Committee is pushing, so thankful for the committee. And 100 units is going to put a dent, but it's not going to complete it. So we want to get 100, followed by another 100, and then another 100. We want to keep this movement going in the coming years and ensure housing is taken care of for our members. Another matter that is probably hot on the membership's mind is the recent tax case in the settlement agreement with the Washington State Legislature. And we want to thank Mel for actively participating in that work that's been going on down in Olympia and all the efforts going into that. And while we're not quite there yet, Mel, what can you tell us about where we are at?
Well, sure. Thank you very much, Les. And I want to say to the membership, it's been an honor to serve on Services Committee with Les and Marlin. And certainly the update on housing is so important because we know that our membership needs housing. The update on the tax case, as we call it, certainly it's down in Olympia. It's been a 60-day session. We're about halfway through, but we've gotten good results with our going down on a daily basis, and that's the board of directors going down and talking to House of Representatives and senators on this issue. And while it's Democrat-controlled House and Senate, we've also been talking to the Republicans. And recently, just 2 days ago, the House passed unanimously House Bill 2803 that allows the governor to enter into a compact with tribes, plural, and the first one will be with Tulalip tribes. And we're going to come out with more details on the MOU once it gets past the Senate, and that should be next week, and we're hoping for a unanimous decision there. This legislation allows us to collect, retain sales and use tax on the reservation, as well as B&O taxes. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to get back to our membership and fully explain all the details to you so you truly understand how this is going to affect our reservation. As president of Quilceda Village, this is going to really ask us to relook at the development there and what type of businesses we want to attract there for the sales and taxes that get collected there. So stay tuned and we'll give you more on that later.
All right, so along with that, Mel, so unanimous consent in the House, that doesn't happen very often.
No, I tell you what, it doesn't, and it's a true testimony to Madam Chair and Vice Chair Glenn Gobin. They were our principal speakers. We asked that they carried the message to all the legislators. The rest of us were there to be there and show the legislature how serious we are about supporting this endeavor, this legislation. So it was really a great exercise in us coming together to support an issue.
All right, and by the time this video is available for public view, we're hoping that the Senate has already voted and that the governor will be the final piece to the puzzle approving this compact.
The day the governor signs it, then we'll all gather and celebrate and continue the work.
All right, wonderful. Moving on, another important piece that I think the membership would be interested in is our healthcare facility, our clinic, which is right down behind the gathering hall. Mel, there was some recent movement along hiring of not a new doctor, but a doctor that we all love and know. Can you cover that a little bit?
Certainly, thank you. And to our membership, Dr. Okima, we've got to talk to him, and he definitely enjoyed his time here before, and there was an opportunity to bring him back and to oversee our health clinic. And I think our membership is really going to be happy that we have a Native American doctor there who knows and understands us and is going to work with the rest of the staff so that when they go into the health clinic, not that they don't already, but they're going to even feel better going there for health care with Dr. Okima.
All right, and some of the other areas that the Services Committee covers is, of course, the court matters, the police department matters, BDACHA, a whole wide variety. And recently, we've come across some court matters that seem troubling. And so, Marlin, maybe you can cover a little bit about what the direction that the Services Committee is pointing our multitude of codes into, and specifically the court.
Thank you, Les. I think along these lines, of course, we hear all the good and the bad of our membership in the tribe. One of the issues with the court system, we have several members concerned and come to the council and talking about how they're not getting a fair process through our court system. Our court system has been in place for several years, well before my time on council, named after a respected elder, and even before Carl Jones. The history is there. So sitting on council for 15 years, that's all we ever want as leaders, to have our people have a fair process. And when that's in question, or the integrity of that is in question, then it certainly alarms us as Service Committee members, and we are definitely taking a look at it right now. I know we have great staff there, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure that our membership are getting that fair shake as they go through court. I know all those years sitting on council, I've been very adamant that our council stays out of those areas as far as leaders and let the process work. But when the process is flawed or seems to be flawed, or they say it's flawed, then we have to take a strong look at it, and that's what we're doing right now.
Yes, and noting for the record that our codes exist largely because of our legal staff and helping us understand what are the right codes to put in place. We know and understand as Services Committee and board members that the codes don't necessarily fit our tribal membership, that They fit a non-tribal community, and very often we adopt a code that fits the white man when we need codes that fit our tribal membership. And we've got the police department codes, we've got the court codes, we've got the youth codes, the Badacha codes. All those codes need to speak in unison with each other. And so Marlin, I know you're helping lead that charge to get every one of those codes under review and have them speak to each other instead of in a silo like they do.
Yeah, unless there's nothing more disappointing than having our members go through the court system or through the police department and not being protected or feeling they're not being protected. And along these codes, we do have to revamp all of our codes to fit today and not the white people. And I say that because we see it, I've seen it as a leader for many years, that I recall the late Loretta James always told us, do not just adopt the white people's laws. We are a sovereign nation. We incorporate our own laws and our own systems for our people. So we're working on that now with staff. Shelley Lacey's on board. We're gonna sit down with the leadership along with the council to get these things accomplished to better suit today's tribal member and the tribal members that are still coming.
All right, and along with that review of the codes, we will be talking about the Badacha codes and seriously impacting our youth and how we handle our youth. And we want to make sure that our codes are working for us, and oftentimes they conflict with each other. So the Badacha code is right in the thick of things. Another quick update that I'm sure many of you are interested in is the Marina project. And so you drive by the Marina for the last month and you don't see any movement happening. Well, there is movement happening, but it's on the inside of the building. They're doing the drywall, they're doing the electrical, all the things that you don't get to see from the outside in a drive-by. So we expect that Marina project is going to be complete by June 1. And we will start moving staff in on June 1st and give them a couple weeks to get situated, and then that will then be a full-blown centralized area for our community and our fishermen to work from. And since we're talking about fishermen, Mel, you're a long-time fisherman, been, all your life. Spent a lot of time up in Alaska fishing the San Juans, Tulalip, and nobody knows better probably than you how the shortfall of salmon affects our Tulalip people. Talk about a new project that we're working on.
Well, I'm really excited. Jason and the crew are looking at another hatchery.
Jason who?
Jason Gobin.
Jason.
And you know, this is, as we've all seen, the salmon are not returning in the numbers they used to. Every once in a while we get to fish on Fraser River sockeye. We do not get much 8A time, so the marina that they're planning to also be in addition to the hatchery that we have is going to be very wonderful. It'll allow not only our fishermen to help make a living, but for the tribal members who want to go down and snag a king, yeah, it'll be there for them too. And I've noticed through the summers more and more of our tribal members are wanting to go down and get a king salmon to eat. So this is going to be a real blessing.
So this new hatchery is going to be referred to as the Battle Creek Hatchery.
Correct.
Which is down there by the youth center. And so we will, essentially we're going to be functioning 2 hatcheries because we know and understand the wild stocks aren't going to produce for our membership. We need the hatchery salmon to be able to provide for our fishermen.
Absolutely. You know, and the tough part is as many people know, the climate change that's happening, and it seems to be taking its toll on our salmon, on the resources of who we are as salmon people. So very much looking forward to the new hatchery.
All right. As we're starting to wrap up our first initial Services Committee report, which we hope to be doing on a monthly basis from here on out, I want to talk a little bit about the Stanford research project that we've been working on. And I'm going to follow this video up with a detailed Stanford video on where we're at with the medical research project. But recently there was some misinformation put out there that this is potentially a $300 billion expense. The $300 billion was the potential profit that this venture could make. We are trying to heal the addicted community and their heroin, their opioid addictions. And we are having fantastic results. We are ready to file the patent on the product that we think is going to be a Tulalip product. There's a whole lot to share about that, too much to talk about now. So with that, Mel, Marlin, you guys want to close with any statements?
I just want to thank you for setting this up, Les. I'm 15 years on council. I don't get in front of the camera very often, but you know, I do have a lot to share. I've learned a lot over the years and really appreciate this opportunity to speak to the members on what we're doing in the Service Committee.
Okay, we'll get used to the camera.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Les and Marlin. Thank you for coming together to share with our community. I think it's very important that we can, when we can, do a video to share what's going on with us at Service Committee and the tribe as a whole. And also in particular, I want to thank both of you for taking a look at the court system and of course, as we always do, looking at our police department, because these are the foundations of our sovereignty. When those are running the right direction, it supports our sovereignty. So thank you, thank you.
All right, well, again, Tulalip community, there is so much to share. We don't want to extend this video out too long, but there's a lot more ground to cover, and we will begin to do those in subsequent videos. So be prepared for more information coming at you, and thank you for watching this video.